All right, let's talk about something that pretty much affects everyone these days: using your personal phone for work. It's super convenient, right? But for companies, it's also a huge security headache. So today, we're going to dive into how Microsoft Intune offers a really clever way to solve this whole mess. I mean, we all do it. You get a work email, you pop open an attachment, fire off a reply, all from the phone in your pocket. It's just how work gets done now. But from the company's perspective, every single time you do that, sensitive data could be leaking out. And that is the modern workplace dilemma in a nutshell. So this brings up the big, kind of scary question. Is all this convenience turning into a total security nightmare? How can a business possibly protect its critical info? We're talking financial reports, secret project plans, when it's all living on a device they don't even own? It's a real tug of war. But what if you didn't have to control the whole phone? What if you could just protect the work stuff? Well, that's where this really smart idea comes in. Instead of locking down the entire device, we focus just on the applications themselves. And this whole approach has a name: Mobile Application Management, or MAM for short. So what is MAM really? The best way to think about it is like a secure bubble that Intune wraps around your work apps, like Outlook or Microsoft Teams. Inside that bubble, there are special rules about what can happen with company data. And the best part? It doesn't touch your personal photos, your texts, or your games. It is laser-focused on the app level. And this slide really hits the nail on the head. The old way of doing things, MDM, is like giving your company the keys to your entire house. They can see and control everything. But MAM? That's totally different. It's like your company gives you a super secure locked briefcase to carry around. They control what goes in and out of that briefcase, but the rest of your house, your phone, is completely yours. Okay, so if you're an IT admin, how do you actually make this happen? Well, it all starts with a couple of key decisions up front that really shape your security strategy. Let's break those down. The first big choice is all about how much control you need. For a device the company actually owns and gives to an employee, you'll probably want to go all in. Manage the device and the apps. That's MDM plus MAM. But for personal phones, the whole bring your own device thing, you need a lighter touch. That's where MAM without enrollment comes in. It's perfect because it secures the data without taking over the person's phone. The second decision comes up if your company has its own custom apps. Now, if you've got an older app and you don't have the source code anymore, no problem. You can use something called the app wrapping tool to put that security layer around it. But if you do have the source code, the best way is to use the Intune app SDK. That lets your developers build the security right into the app from the ground up. Okay, so we've got the strategy. How do we turn these ideas into actual rules? You do that by building what's called an app protection policy. This is basically the digital rulebook that defines what you can and can't do inside that secure work bubble. And building one of these policies in Intune is actually a really logical 5-step process. First, you pick the platform, iOS or Android. Then you tell it which apps to protect. Step 3 is where you set the data rules. 4 is about access rules, like PINs. And finally, you assign the policy to the right people. It's super straightforward. And here's the kind of powerful stuff you can do with those data rules. These are all about preventing those accidental leaks. For example, you can stop someone from copying text from a work email and pasting it into their personal notes app. Or you can block them from saving a confidential report to their personal Dropbox. See? The data stays inside the secure briefcase. Now, the other side of the coin is access. It's not just about protecting the data, it's about making sure the right person is getting to it on a safe device. So you can require a PIN just to open your work apps, block access completely if a phone is jailbroken, or even wipe the corporate data after too many wrong PIN attempts. So you've built the policies, you've assigned them to everyone, but here's the million-dollar question. Is it actually working? That's where the final piece of the puzzle comes in: monitoring. You got to check your work, right? When an IT admin looks at their dashboard, they'll see these statuses. Checked in is the big one. That's the green light. It means the policy is working and the app is protected. Not checked in isn't a bad thing. It just means the policy is ready to go, but the user hasn't opened that work app yet. And unprotected, well, that's a flag. It means someone's using an app that should be managed, but isn't. Time to fix that. And ultimately, this number is the goal. When you see something like 95% of your users are checked in, that is a huge win. That means your data is overwhelmingly safe. The other 5%, that could just be new employees or people setting up new phones. The point is, monitoring lets you see that gap so you can close it.
This quote just nails the whole philosophy. It's not about the physical phone, it's about the person. The security is tied to the user's work identity, so it follows them around, creating that safe work context for them no matter what device they happen to be using at that moment.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? It's that MAM lets security and privacy finally coexist. The company's data stays safe inside that protected app bubble, while the employee's personal life, their photos, their messages, all of it remains completely separate and untouched. It really is the best of both worlds. So, we've seen how Intune can totally lock down the application layer, and that's a massive leap forward. But it does leave us with one last question to chew on. Now that our app data is secure, where should we be looking for the next threat?